Hi, it's Chris with Implied Music, and today I've got a bunch of odd time signatures. 6 examples of things like 7/8 or 5/4, complicated groups of twos and threes that feel irregular. And they are odd, but they're not like misfits. You know what I mean? These are important ways of creating propulsive, energetic, rhythmic frameworks for our music. And great composers have always used them. Along the way, there's a lot to talk about, like the difference between a meter and a time signature, least common multiple polymeters. I suppose we could probably also talk about interference of periodicity and maybe polyrhythms. So much to chew on. So let's get started. Well, odd time signatures are not from the island of misfit toys. They are useful for us right now. And for me, they're useful because they're propulsive. They send us forward in time in a way that can be a little bit surprising. Listen to this first piece of mine. We're going to break it down in a second, but I just want you to look at it on the screen and listen to the way the rhythm sort of hiccups and then moves forward. I think of it as being in 7/8. 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3. Well, because the harmony is fairly simple, and I'm using the pedal tone D again and again there, your ear is easily led along the sort of melodic and harmonic pathway. But there is something kind of great about having that rhythmic hiccup. So when I say rhythmic hiccup, I mean the sort of surprising group of three that appears in an ordinary meter like 4/4. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. It feels perfectly normal, and actually that chord progression is pretty pleasant. But I want more propulsion, and so I go 1 2 3 4 1 2 3. I clip off that last beat or note or eighth note, whatever you want to call it, pulse. Let's just use the word pulse. And I go 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3. I get something very interesting as a result. And my melody adheres to that phrasing. I have the score available for download if you want to look at it, but that's 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3. Also, my trio has recently recorded this. It's worth taking a look at. I love this irregular grouping, and it's a fairly fast grouping of eighth notes. Those fast eighth notes give us a kind of an energetic flow forwards. This version of it is honestly a little slower than I like to perform it. Maybe you can hear now the way the melody follows those groups. 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3. It's really kind of the easiest solution to an odd meter melody. Follow the grouping. A little break here, and then we're back to our A melody. Let's go on to our second example because it does have a direct relationship to this one. Well, I guess I want to say first before we go on that if you're getting something out of these videos and you're not subscribed, maybe it's the third or fourth video of mine you've seen and they're useful to you, subscribe now, leave a comment, like the video. All those things help us build this community that's been useful to me as well as everybody else who's involved. It's just been delightful for me the past couple of years. And now we're around 50,000 subscribers. There's a very nice sort of base of people who are quite knowledgeable, doing independent, unique artistic work. And my goal is to empower us to use music theory in ways that help our music. My teacher, Dr. Roland Wiggins, always said, you must become your own theorist. You've got to find your own perspective on what it is that you're doing and then go forward. And to that end, I hope this is music theory for everyone. Let's go on. So this was originally written in 4. And yet what I realized was if I grouped the melody 4 pulses, 3 pulses, 4 pulses, 3 pulses, it was much more interesting because my melody had this dead space at the end of the phrase. So that's 4 and that's 3. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Again, we've got that feeling of 2, 2, 3, but so much slower. In fact, if I had to notate this, I would definitely just change time signature every other measure. Phrasing is so important in music that economy, moving us to the next phrase, can be a very important thing to do, right? Harmonically, again, a pretty simple piece. All about the melody and the phrasing, and the revelation for me of changing the way that worked in this piece, which I thought I knew what it was really terrific. I could go into detail about the harmony for this piece, but I think maybe another time. I've recorded it before in the 4/4 version. So while we're here, let's talk a little bit about the difference between time signature and meter. If you've spent any time writing and thinking about music, you've heard both of those terms, I'm sure, as well as the term pulse. I used to teach music theory to dancers, very accomplished dancers at Boston Ballet. And I tried to avoid a lot of the advanced notational jargon with them while focusing on useful terms from the physical experience of playing and dancing. And the physical experience of music for most of us very often has to do with pulse, a regular, repeated thump. And you might call that tempo. You can call it anything you want, but here's a pulse, right? In fact, in the old days, there was a sense that there was kind of a perfect pulse almost. And certainly in contemporary popular music, 120 to 128 or so feels like the perfect pulse, maybe 60 beats a minute. Why is a second so long? Why, all these questions come up in my mind. Listen, pulses can be grouped. And that's what a meter is. Let's look at our next piece. This one is in 6, and it's in a slow 6 or very slow 3. But because I've grouped things in an interesting way, it's not as obvious. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a syncopated 6. How am I thinking of it? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And now the left hand just has steady 2s while the right hand does that rhythm. So even a conventional 6 can sound exciting and syncopated by using that grouping of 2s and 3s. Listen, our next example is just a beautiful sound. Let's listen to it. This is from Philip Glass's piano etudes, etude number 16. And maybe you can hear that it's in 7. By now you might be tuned into recognizing groups of 2s and 3s. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now the melody over the top just sits in there, great little chord progression, just simple kind of like walking bass. We're in G minor. I love playing this etude. Aaron Deal's trio's done an amazing jazz version of it. Boy, it's worth listening to. Aaron Deal. So beautiful. Odd meters are not misfits. They have energy that's intrinsic to the quality of that, 2 and 3 hiccup. And I think that for me, one of the most exciting things is that instead of relying on complicated chords or unusual melodic motion, I can create propulsion and interest with easily absorbed harmonies and melodies and unusual meters. Frequently, and this is a word to the wise, and this is something you might want to take note of, if you want your music to be exciting to the ear, you'll want to have novel elements. But if all of your music has all novel elements, most listeners won't be able to penetrate it. Engage your listeners' ears with familiar concepts, familiar harmonies and melodies, good voice leading, things like that, decent orchestration, but include unusual elements that will be exciting. I love unusual meters for that reason. All right, so this one kind of falls into our odd meter category. It's a least common multiple trick. Here's 4 woven into 3. So the right hand has 3 notes that are just repeated. The left hand has 4 notes that are repeated. And if I play them at the same time, you must realize this, it's going to take 12 beats or pulses for them to come around. Here they come. There, I'm back to the center. The left hand repeats 3 times. The right hand repeats 4. And it can be an engaging texture. This is a great backing texture for scoring. It sounds to me like water, And then what I like to do is I'll just use a kind of a modal transformation without changing position very much, just to go to a sort of a new key or new sound, and then relax back. So beautiful. Essentially, those textures are chromatic mediant relationships and then a modal shift. So I went from the F major sound, F major 6 sound, F major 13 sound, to the D major sound, sharp 11, back to the F and then F minor, kind of a little parallel minor shift. All those textures in one position, just respelling individual notes to get me something new. Well, my first introduction to odd time signatures was when I was a young piano student, and it was a music appreciation class, I think probably in 7th grade, and the teacher brought in Dave Brubeck's Time Out, an album of jazz tunes in a variety of different time signatures. And of course, probably the most famous of that group is, Take 5. But there are a number of other odd-metered time signatures on that album, and it's a terrific introduction to the feeling of getting odd meters into European styles. We also see odd meters now everywhere in classical music, and in jazz, it's almost like normal now. So more and more, we're finding that the odd meters are creating new landscapes for us to explore. Well, our last example is, I think, a kind of almost romantic sound in a slow 5. So this instrumental form, this beautiful sort of E flat major chord to B flat 7, just sounds to me like kind of weird 5/4 Satie. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And And the truth is, a listener would not think twice about this as a love theme or character theme underscoring a film or TV series. They wouldn't even hear it as a regular, right? It would just be a propulsive melody sending them forward. No waiting for the beginning of the next phrase. A group of three, a group of two. There are metronome apps that allow you to practice odd metered time signatures, but get used to doing things like just walking down the street and clapping to yourself. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Or how many ways can you divide 15? Listen, I hope this has been useful. We've got a new YouTube channel for Trio Prima, and there are a couple of examples that I've given us today that we have performances of over there. There's a link to it in the description. I hope that you will subscribe to this channel. I'm curious to know how you use odd time signatures in your own work. Let me know what you think, like the video, and I'll see you next time.